you a service provider and you need to set up your Asana project management system, but you're just not sure where to start, you're not sure what areas to set up, and you're not sure how to do it properly? Well, you're in luck, because in today's video, we're going to be doing a tutorial walkthrough on all of the different areas of Asana that you can set up if you're a service provider, and also how to actually create the tasks for your team, recurring tasks, whether that's weekly, monthly, daily tasks, and all of the different areas that you need to set up inside Asana. So if that sounds like something that you need, please make sure to watch this video through right till the very end. And before we jump into the video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you get notifications as to when we put out new content on YouTube every single week. Okay, now let's dive into the walkthrough. So in this video, I am going to take you through how to set up Asana. Asana is a project management system, so it's super important that when you are looking at scaling your business to the next level, that you set up a project management system for yourself and also your team members, so that it's very easy for everybody to have a good idea as to what's going on. You can assign different tasks to people, you can set deadlines, you can create recurring tasks. It's just going to make your life a whole lot easier, because you'll be able to get all of this information out of your head and into a system that will send the reminders for you, or will be able to tell the certain team members when things need to be done, or whatever that looks like. So I don't use Asana anymore because it's pretty limited, I think, in terms of its capabilities. So I use Monday.com, and there is a training video. If you do decide you want to use Monday.com, there's a training video, obviously, in this week's lessons, and there's a link to sign up under that training video if you want to get started with Monday.com. But it is a paid subscription, so I know that not everybody, when they're starting out, obviously can afford to pay for paid subscriptions for everything. So that's why I'm recording this one on Asana as well, so that you can get an overview if you do want to use Asana as to how you should set it up properly. So this is just an old account that I was using to manage a couple of different things. What I'm going to do is show you a few projects that I already have set up in this Asana, and then I'm going to take you through and we can look at the different projects that I think that you will need to have set up for your Asana moving forwards, and how we can really manage those properly. But I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview as to some of the projects that I already have set up and what we were using them for. So for example, when I was using Asana, this was when I hired my first virtual assistant. Myself and my boyfriend, we hired a full-time VA, and we just allocated half of her hours to myself and half of her hours to him, so that we were obviously being able to support somebody in a full-time, with full-time employment, but it was just split half and half because we both needed it for our separate businesses. So we created this, basically this project to let her know what tasks she needs to be working on in certain hours of the day. So if we click into this, it is broken up basically into certain days of the week that her name's Angelina. Basically, these are the days of the week that Angelina is working for us, and then it's broken up into hours. So when we click into the hour, you can see here, so the first 30 minutes she needs to be doing engagement on Instagram and YouTube and for a client, and then the second 30 minutes manage a spiritual boss babe page. For example, then like the second hour, she needs to be creating captions for 2 different brands. The third hour, scheduling the content after she's created those captions. So it was super specific. She said it was very helpful for her as soon as she got started, because basically she knew exactly what she needed to be working on at those exact hours in the day. So if you are looking to hire a virtual assistant or bring on a team member to help you, it's great to give them a sort of set structure that they need to be following every single day. If you want their help working on more like one-off projects, obviously that's going to be a little bit harder, but if you're hiring maybe a general virtual assistant or somebody that's going to be doing recurring tasks, it's great to just create a list like this for them. So let's go back home. Another thing, and a great example of something that you could create, is a weekly content checklist. So this is just a list of the content that I have for my personal brand that needed to be going live, with details on what time it needed to be going live and what specifically was supposed to be going live. So obviously you can see like I have a lot of content that goes live on certain days. So that's why I wanted to just have it all in one place that Anne-Sharina would be able to check. And anytime she so for example, if she knew on Friday she needed to be posting on IG and emailing with a podcast details and image of me on all platforms, so she has the exact specific times that she needs to post those things and an exact list of everything that needs to be posted on those certain days. So if you are going to be hiring somebody to help you with social media management, or maybe creation of graphics or copywriting for your content for your socials, this is a fantastic thing, just an overview for them to have as to what needs to go live on what particular date. The next thing I wanted to show you, marketing plan. So this is for my old agency. I haven't worked on Millennial Girls Media stuff for over a year now, pretty much. But basically, when I was working on Millennial Girls Media, my old agency, this is basically how I set up our marketing plan. So I have, obviously you can see here, I have all of the different avenues that I wanted to try and test. And then within all of these avenues, I've created tasks that, and I've assigned them to certain team members that need to be created or need to be completed. I did have dates assigned to these, but I do not anymore, obviously, because the dates are passed. And I always have all of my, generally always have all of my projects in a board view, just because I like this view. But you can obviously have it in a list view as well, which looks like this, if that's something that you prefer. Or when you set dates, you'll be able to have a timeline or a calendar view. You can choose dashboard. Apparently that's a paid subscription. But yeah, I just go for the boards, because for me, I'm a very visual person. I like to have it all like spread out like this. But obviously it's completely up to you. So yeah, if you're creating like a marketing plan and you're testing a whole different bunch, like a different marketing avenues, I would break it up and have different sections for all of the avenues, and then you can create specific tasks within those sections. And the next one that I wanted to show you is just a client, an old client that I was working with. So this is sort of the different stages that we needed to be, or that we had tasks that we needed to do. So research, that's obviously when we first started working with a client, we needed to do some competitor research, some hashtag research. So we had tasks in here for that. This task is obviously in the wrong spot. It needs to go into the creation list. But then obviously, yeah, creation. So create graphics. We also had the social media content in terms of the copywriting, then scheduling and posting. So once it got approved, we then scheduled and posted out all of the content. And obviously you can just drag and drop like any of these across when they're moving across into the next thing. And once they're complete, you can just drag them into the done list. So I definitely recommend for every client that you have, setting up a specific project management a specific project for that client, so that you can track the different stages that client is at, and you can also assign tasks to yourself or your team and set reminders and all of that sort of stuff. So those are sort of some of the boards that I just wanted to show you. In terms of setting up projects for yourself, I'm going to go ahead and show you now how to do that, and then I'm going to give you sort of a list of some of the boards that I say boards because that's what they're called in Monday.com. Some of the projects that I think you will need to set up in Asana to be able to manage everything. So if we just go ahead and click on this plus button here, we can see that we can choose to create a new task, a project, conversation, invite, or a team member, or invite somebody new. Obviously we want to select project to begin with. So you can either import it as a spreadsheet. I've personally never done that, but you can try that if you want to. If you're managing your projects in a spreadsheet, that would obviously work super well. You can use a template, which I generally always choose things from a template. So there are some fantastic boards that are already set up for you. Starting a business checklist, that was super helpful when we were starting Outsource Monkey, meeting agendas, obviously company goals and milestones, a business plan. So it literally already has these sort of preset tasks that are in there based on maybe what you would need to do to create a business plan or your company goals and milestones, or like meeting agendas, whatever that looks like for you, like new hire checklist for managers. It's got super specific things that you can implement into these boards. But for the purpose of this video, let's just go ahead and start with a blank project. So obviously we need to name the project first. The first and most important project that I think you need to have, or folder that you're going to have, is going to be operations. So you can select the team. You can obviously create different teams. So you might have a content team, and that would be your graphic designer and your content writer. You might have a paid campaigns team, and that would be your Facebook ads manager and maybe person that helps you write email sequences, whatever that looks like. And you can obviously choose private to me, private to project members is a paid subscription thing, or public to your team. And then you choose your list or your board, timeline, or calendar. I always go with board because that's just what I want. Oh, this is supposed to say operations. There we go. Create project. So as you can see, when you create a new project, it already gives you like to do, in progress, complete as your different lists that you can then assign tasks into. It's obviously up to you as to how you set up your Asana. If this works for you, then fantastic. But what I am going to recommend for you to do is, in this operations board, let's make a list for all of the specific recurring things that you or your team are going to need to do on an operational day-to-day basis. So for example, you might start with podcast if you have a podcast, and then you can create recurring tasks for yourself. So let's create a recurring task of record weekly podcast episode. You can assign it to yourself. You can, let's say the due date for that is in 1 week's time. Due date. So we set it for 1 week's time, and then we can actually set to repeat. So repeat weekly on these days. You can obviously choose monthly, yearly, or you can customize it. But for example, if you wanted to record 1 podcast episode per week, or maybe if you wanted to do all 4 of your podcast episodes at once for the month, let's do, I wrote weekly, so we'll do weekly. But if you wanted to do monthly, you could obviously just batch create your podcast episodes, and that would help to save you a lot of time and stress every single week. But these recurring tasks are fantastic because then you don't have to think about creating these new tasks and assigning them to yourself or to the specific team member that needs to do this task. It just does it for you. So obviously, when we're scaling and when we're building and creating and getting your business to go to that next level, we want to be automating as many things as possible. So setting up automated tasks to be created in Asana or Monday.com is going to be super helpful. So let's just create these to be a weekly thing that we do on a Thursday. And that's good to go. Yes, weekly. Did that. Oh, operations podcast. Oh yeah, perfect. I just want to check. Yes, okay, good. That went on to repeating. And so you can obviously, if you need to assign anything to a team member, you can put in a description as to what they need to do for this particular task, or any details that they need, links to documents, whatever that looks like, and on a recurring basis. And you can also create a subtask. So add a subtask in here. Maybe you need to create podcast outline. Obviously, you need to create the outlines before you can record. And so then maybe they need to be done by Wednesdays every week, and you can make it recurring. So by every Wednesday, and we'll assign that to yourself. So every Wednesday, you need to make sure that you have your podcast outline complete. And then on Thursday, you need to record your weekly episode. Doing this is a super easy way for you to be able to make sure that you are holding yourself accountable to actually doing specific tasks. Set up as many recurring tasks as you can. Anything that you need to be doing on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis, set up a recurring task in your project management system so that it reminds you, you don't have to remind yourself, or you don't have to stress about worrying about that. So recurring tasks are fantastic. Then obviously when we go over into our calendar, you can see here, like record weekly podcast episode, that is already in there. And it has, you can see like these three little, sorry, let me go back. You can see by that little one, that represents the subtask in there. So you know that you needed, well, this is obviously due yesterday. But then when you jump on over into the My Tasks section, it's already here. So every day when you log into your Asana, you can just look at the My Tasks section and look at what you need to be working on specifically for that day, because you're obviously already going to be putting in tasks ahead of time because you're organized and you're stepping into that role as CEO of your business. You're putting things into your project management system ahead of time. You're getting them done ahead of schedule so that you're super organized all the time. You're never late with anything. So you can see here, it's already in my task list. Anything that's unassigned and doesn't have a date, it'll just sort of sit there forever. But these have already come up because I've made this date yesterday and this date on the 17th. So that's how you create recurring tasks. And let me just go back to operations. Oops, I don't like that list view. Okay, so podcast. We've obviously got record weekly episodes. Maybe you need to invite guests. So invite guests on Insta. And to create a new task, you can literally just hit enter on your, like when you're sitting, if you're sitting here and just thinking about, okay, what tasks can I create to put into my project management system, just hit enter, and it creates new tasks. For your podcast, so invite guests, maybe send them booking calendar link, and request bio plus headshot. That could be another one for your podcast. So basically any tasks that you are doing on a recurring basis, these more operational type tasks to do with your podcast, we can put them in this list here. Next, we could maybe have content. So here, let's do create monthly graphics. So it's always great to obviously batch create things at one time. If you're hiring or outsourcing somebody to do the graphics, don't get them to do them like a week at a time. Get them to do it a month at a time so that you can then plan everything, whether it's for yourself or your clients. It's just obviously great to get everything done 1 month at a time so that you just do it once and then you don't have to worry about it for another 30 days. So for content, create monthly graphics, and maybe you could do write monthly captions. And obviously you need to be assigning these to yourself and setting dates and making them a recurring task like we just spoke about. You could maybe have the link to folder with content calendars and then put the link there. Another list you can make here, you could do email, so you could maybe do weekly emails about podcast episodes, and you would assign that to whoever manages your email, set a date, and make it recurring. And then any sort of one-off emails that need to be written or created, you can put in here as well. So, for example, maybe you're a coach and you're going to be launching a new program in 2 months' time. So you could put write email write email sequence for new launch product. Or maybe you could put find copywriter to write email sequence. Whatever you want to do, obviously, if you want to write it yourself, go with this. If you want to outsource, which I definitely recommend, create a task like this. Another section you could add is sort of any one-off tasks. So any sort of one-off tasks, maybe you need to, what's an example of one-off task? Maybe you need to follow up with somebody who asked you for if you wanted to do an interview on their podcast or whatever it is. Any one-off sort of tasks, just pop them in here, and then you can obviously start to add in the specific tasks, assign them, set dates, or make it recurring if it needs to. Obviously, if it's one-off, it's probably not going to be recurring. But having an operations board like this and setting these recurring tasks is super, super helpful and important, specifically when you start to hire team members. You don't want to have to be constantly thinking every single day, okay, what do I need to tell my virtual assistant to do? Or what do I need to tell my social media manager to do? You just want to be able to have a system that tells them what to do for you. So creating these recurring tasks is very, very important for starting to scale your business using automations. Now, besides operations, the next project that I think you should set up, if you're a coach, you can set up one that is called courses and programs, or if you are a more service-based, like agency type business, you could make one that is called packages and services or something like that. So just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go with courses and programs. Millennial Goals Media, public, I like it to be in a board. Create project. Now within this, obviously you need to put, so for example, let's just do this one, solopreneur to CEO. So in this, I would have my tasks would be, so courses and programs, I would have link to funnel, and then I would put the link to the funnel there. I would put link to launch, LAUNCH, there we go, link to launch calendar, link to, oh my gosh, link to membership site, program outline. So the courses and programs, or products and services or packages or whatever is most relevant for your business. Basically, this project is just going to be a place where you can house specific information in terms of maybe launch calendars or proposals, like standard proposals that you have for people for that specific service or product or package. It's just going to be a place where you'll be able to have everything in one spot, easy to find for your whole team, and you don't have to go searching back through your Canva or searching in the files in your computer to see different proposals that you have made up in the past. It's all just in one particular place. So that's the main purpose of this project, is just to make sure that everything is organized and systemized, and when you bring on new team members that potentially need links to certain things or access to certain files, they can find it all in this one project. Now, the next project that I want you to set up is going to be Growth and Visionary. Woo! Growth and Visionary. So this is basically a place for you to be able to just brain dump any ideas that you have, or put details in here about any sort of projects that you're specifically working on, that maybe you haven't launched to the public yet, but you're sort of building and growing. So for example, if you maybe wanted to let's do creation of e-product. So maybe you want to launch your first ever e-product, and it's going to be a 12-month content calendar for people, and you're going to do 12 months of social media content prompts. So we could make tasks like create outline for prompts, create an outline for prompts, yep. Then we could do create content calendar in Google Sheets. So you can start to just list all of the tasks that you want to be doing for any sort of special projects that you're working on that maybe the rest of the team isn't working on, or you can put, so we can make like, I like to call it plotting and scheming. That's what I like to call like my ideas. So basically any ideas that you have for new things that you want to launch, maybe in the new year or in the next quarter or coming up in the next few weeks, whatever, just put all of your ideas down in here so that you have a place where it's out of your head. You can refer back to things. Maybe you would put one in here that could be let's just do press opportunities. Is that, yes, there we go. And this could be a section where you're sort of tracking any press opportunities that you have that are coming up, people that you're reaching out to maybe be on their podcast, anything that's going to help grow the business. That's what goes into this project. So, super important just to get some of your ideas out of your head and into a system so that you're not constantly like thinking, oh, I need to remember that. Like it's just in a system for you. So let's go back. Oops. Home. Okay, so the next one that I want you to create, the next project is sales and launches. So this will be for any sales activity or any launches that you have coming up. So sales / lead gen. So you can create recurring tasks for yourself in terms of lead generation. Maybe we can make this find and engage with 15 new accounts per day. And maybe this is something that you assign to your virtual assistant. You select that it's a recurring task that actually, I don't know if we can select daily. Let's see. Oh, we could do a custom one. So you can make a custom one. Every day it would remind your virtual assistant that they need to find and engage with 15 new accounts per day that are in your specific target market so that it starts to generate more leads and people that are interested in your products and service. You could also in here, so in your sales section, you could have your link to sales tracking spreadsheet. Just so if you or your team needs to access that very easily, it's just the link is in here ready to go. You could also maybe have link to scripts, like maybe DM scripts that I've given you access to in this program. So anything that's to do with sales or lead generation can go into this list here. And then in terms of launches, so if you have something that you want to launch, launches. So let's say you want to launch a new product or service in the new year. So we could make this launch of new service. So let's say you're a social media manager and you're going to you've been creating content for people and you have a lot of people asking for engagement. So you're going to create a little bit of a launch around this new service that you're offering, just to create some hype and awareness in your audience for this particular offer. So launch of new service. Obviously, when you create a launch, you need to get super clear on, so brainstorm. You need to get super clear about the transformation, process, and structure, which I'll go into in a different video. You need to go into a lot of detail or brainstorm in detail about the transformation process and structure that the client needs to go through. Then obviously once you are super clear on that, you need to start with copywriting for sales page, or find copywriter to write sales page copy. Find somebody, like, definitely outsource. If copywriting is not something that you're good at, definitely outsource that. And then maybe we need to create the sales funnel, or organize web developer to create sales funnel, whichever you want. I personally don't create my own sales funnels because it's annoying and time consuming, and it's not something that I'm amazing at, so I just get somebody else to do it and I pay them a pretty small amount. So basically anything to do with the launch of your new product or service, you'll be able to keep it in this tab. You can also make like specific lists for certain people on your team. So you could maybe have tailors to do's for launch, and then you could maybe have Angelina's to-dos for launch. So then, and then you could have completed. So then anything that you want to be doing for this specific launch, you would make tasks in here. Anything that you want your team members to do, you would make tasks in here. And then anytime something's complete, both of you would be able to just drag and drop it into this completed folder right here. So sales and launches is just super important to be able to track your... Oh, actually, another thing that I forgot to mention. You should make a list of... Oops. Nope, that's not what I want. Here we go. Add a section. Warm leads. 100% you need to be tracking your warm leads. So you can put the person's name and maybe they're followed by their Insta or however you found them. So if you found them on Facebook, maybe you can put the link into their profile, but tracking the warm leads that you're engaging with so that you know when you have a new product or offering that to follow up with them, and you can basically constantly start to follow up with these people and build a relationship with them so that when you create the perfect offer that suits their needs, they'll be ready and warm to go because you've been nurturing them for a little while. So that's definitely something you should include in this sales and launches project. So I'm going to go back home, and there's just one last project that I think you definitely need to have. So again, let's go a blank one, and it's just like a headquarters project. So obviously for me, it's TV, so Taylor Victoria headquarters. You can make it whatever name you want, but basically headquarters is just a place where, so passwords is a super important thing. We need to start, we need to have a place where our team's going to be able to access our passwords for everything. If they're going to need to log into things, even if you don't have a team yet, start to build this out so that when you do hire a team, it's ready to go and you don't have to stress about it. Passwords, so we could have links to all funnels /web pages. So anytime you have a new funnel or web page, you just put the link in here so that they can find everything super easily. And then we could have SOPs, which is standard operating procedures.
training videos, or actually training docs. And then you can put the link here to any training that your team might need. If you want them to watch, for example, if you have an online course that you want them to watch about how to create your content, we would do online course details, and then you can put the details in that section. So this is basically, this project is just going to be like a super high level. It doesn't really have any like actual proper systems or processes outlined in it. It's just mostly got links to everything so that your team, or when you start to build a team, they know where they can find everything. Or even for yourself, like if you're constantly finding that you can't navigate your Google Drive quickly, you just want to be able to get all of this at one quick glance, like this is a fantastic project to set up. So those are sort of my main recommendations in terms of projects that you need to set up. Obviously, you can set different color codes for these, and you can pin your favorites to the top. So just do whatever works the best for you. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful in terms of how to set up your Asana. Obviously, as I mentioned, I recommend Monday.com just because the functionalities of it are so much better than Asana, but I know that that's just not possible for everyone, basically. If you need a free version, if you need Asana, that's completely fine. That's why I recorded this video. So I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about how to set up your Asana, please make sure to pop them in the comments below so I can help you out. And if you did find a lot of value from this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you can see more videos like this one. And until the next episode, I'll see you later. Bye.